Hi there, thanks for buying my 100 milliliter version of the Pure C8 MCT oil. This video is to help you make the most of it and get the most of this product, so I hope it's useful to you. I'm going to cover three things in this video. The first is how to take it. There are some instructions on here, but I know they're very small print, and I'm going to give you a bit more information about that so you can make the most of it. The second is how to pour with this without spillage, because some people experience spillage due to the nature of the oil. It kind of clings to the bottle and could dribble down the side. So I'm going to explain how to avoid that. And then third of all, I'm going to explain why this 100 milliliter exists, what its role is, and why it may not be the best version for you. If you enjoy this, you get the benefits of it in future. So I'll explain what this is actually for. So the first part is how to take it, and basically the principle is to start small and build up slowly. A teaspoon is the dose that most people start with, right? So basically a teaspoon dose is, this is actually a new bottle. Teaspoon dose is this much, right? So you can see just that much. And some people will actually use half of that, so half a teaspoon to start with. And then you will build up very slowly once every week. So if you take this for 7 days, you can then double your dose. So you can take 2 teaspoons, and then after the week after, you can take another teaspoon. You can add another teaspoon, and basically you will be at 3 teaspoons, which is 1 tablespoon after 3 weeks. So that's the idea. So first week is 1 teaspoon, the second week is 2 teaspoons per dose, and the third one is 3 teaspoons. So I'm going to pour that in there for a second. Right, so why do we do this? Well, the oil has some antimicrobial effects. You probably bought it for its ketone boosting effects. This will raise your ketones in your blood. And that's the reason, I designed the product. But it also has some antimicrobial benefits against yeast in particular. So if you have some yeast, a lot of people have yeasts in their gut today. It's very common given like the sugars and things that we consume quite normally. Then this is going to break them down and kill them. And sometimes we can get stomachache or even loose stools when there's too much of this breakdown in one go, which is why it's important to start with a small dose and build up slowly, so it gives it time to break down those yeasts in a slower fashion and you don't experience any of the symptoms. If you experience any symptoms, the quick fix is to halve the dose, to take it down to half a teaspoon to start with, and to take it with solid foods. So this could be things like bread, whatever you're eating with a bit more fiber to it, a bit more consistency. Texture could be with your breakfast, but you want it with a meal which has got some solid elements in it, and that really eliminates symptoms for anyone, which could be, as I said, the loose stools or slight gut pain or anything like that. You're also free to really reach out to me, just reply to the email you've got and ask for any advice or explain any situation or any symptom you experience with it, and we'll deal with it. I promise you, we're very good at this. We've been doing it for years now to get you the benefits of this. In terms of, people have different goals of this, so you really need to approach how you take it based on your goal. If you're doing it for fat loss, I'll just give it a quick template. If you're doing it for fat loss, then it's all about satiation. So you take your first dose first thing in the morning, and you can take another dose at around lunchtime, and that will usually cover most people with fat loss because it'll make you feel satiated throughout the day. That's what having blood ketones does. If you're doing it for performance or something like that, you will take it half an hour or an hour before, say, an athletic event or before your gym. Or even a cognitive event. If you're doing a presentation or something, it's better to take it an hour before because it takes an hour to rise in your bloodstream. Increase the ketones in your bloodstream. It takes about that amount of time. Okay, so that's basically the basic templates of how to take it. There are some other instructions if you want to look on there, but really, if you have a specific goal in mind, the best thing to do is to ask us. So just reply to the email and we'll let you know how to take it for your specific situation. Okay, now I want to explain how to avoid any spillage of this. So unfortunately I don't have the current version of this, but I do have the current version of this. So when you receive this, it should come with this seal on top. This is a new edition we've made recently. It will be completely sealed. It's a tamper-proof seal. It's an extra one. So there's 2 tamper-proofs. There's the cap and there's this also, so to make it really, really tamper proof. But one of our customers actually gave us this cool idea, which is basically you take a knife and you cut a larger hole in one side and a small hole in the other side, and then you pour it as so, and as you can see, that stops any dribble. So it actually does a pretty good job of that, and you can do the same thing with the small version. So that's the current solution we have to avoid dribbling. I've been looking for a permanent ideal solution for a couple of years now, nearly 3 years. And I do know what the end fix is. It's a specific pourer, but unfortunately I have to buy these pourers in such large numbers that I can't do it yet because we're not selling enough of these. Just because they're made in very, very large numbers. I'm talking like tens and tens and tens of thousands. So that's the end goal, to make it a really good pourer solution. But that tip I gave you is probably the best way to avoid spillage right now. And the last thing I wanted to do is to explain to you the purpose of this, why we designed this version versus this one. This is the standard, the original, the 500 milliliter. This I designed about after a year of selling this product because people wanted to travel with the oil, including myself actually. And we can't carry these through customs and through the airplane security and everything because of the liquid reduction measures. So the limit of the liquid that you can take is 100 milliliters, which is why I designed this to be 100 milliliters. So I take these and many of our customers take these. You can take like 3 or 4 of these on the airplane, no problem, when you're traveling and so on. And that's really what these were designed for. However, then what happened was a lot of people, started taking an interest in the product, and they would check this size out because it's smaller, it's cheaper. Because it's only 1/5 the size. So that I think is a great idea, because you get to taste it at a lower cost and something. But I did want to make you aware of that, on a price per milliliter, if you're going to start using this routinely, this one is by far the most expensive. And the reason is that the shipping cost per unit does not change. So I have to pay a certain amount for shipping for this, and I pay the same amount for this, whereas this contains a lot less. So you can understand that, that basically that raises this cost way more than it does this bit as a proportion. So I wanted to give you an idea of that just for your own context and information. So this per milliliter, the per milliliter cost of this is 7 pence. So it's 7 pence per milliliter of C8 MCT for this one. For this one, it's 3.8 pence. So you can see it's a huge difference, and it's if you're going to buy it consistently and you're interested in value for your money, this one's better value for money. And then there's a slight reduction for the 1000 milliliter, that is 3.5 pence. So this one's 3.8 pence, and then the bigger one, which is up here, is 3.5 pence. So I just wanted to make that clear to you, because sometimes people say this one is quite expensive, and it's true, but it's really down to the shipping costs, so we can't do anything about it. So if you're going to use it routinely, the other versions are a lot more cost effective for you.